Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. Yesterday was Jerusalem Day, Yom Yerushalayim. And in honor of Jerusalem Day, Yom Yerushalayim, which is the 49th anniversary of the reunification of Israel's capital, Jerusalem, we at the Jerusalem Connection stand in support of the Israeli people, of the Israel Defense Forces, and we strongly affirm that the state of Israel's true capital and lasting capital is the holy city of Jerusalem and not Tel Aviv. When the state of Israel was declared in 1948, it was proposed that Jerusalem would be an international city for some 10 years, after which a vote among the residents would determine whether the city to be Israeli or Jordanian. Instead, the Jordanians captured the old city and the eastern side of Jerusalem, creating a divided city. Jews were prevented from visiting their holiest site, the Temple Mount, the Kotel, as we call it, the Western Wall. In 1967, however, Jordan joined the surrounding Arab countries that attacked Israel, calling for the annihilation of the Jewish state. In only 6 days, the Israel Defense Forces miraculously gained control over, among other areas, a newly united Jerusalem. And one of the laws passed following the Six-Day War calls for the free access by members of every religion to the many holy places in the holy city. Free access to the many religions. Since 2006, there are no foreign embassies in Jerusalem. This obviously reflects the reluctance of the entire world that does not have diplomatic relations with the Jewish state, that does have diplomatic relations with the Jewish state, to recognize its ownership of Jerusalem. It's a unique phenomenon in world affairs. Not only do the nations of the world not accept Jerusalem's status as Israel's capital, the international community also regards about half of it, Eastern Jerusalem, including the entire Old City, as a part of the, quote, occupied Palestinian territories. And no one officially recognizes Western Jerusalem as part of the territory of Israel either. So Jerusalem is not even recognized by the world community as being a part of Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke to this issue regarding Jerusalem Day. He said, "We, the people of Israel, have a primal claim on Jerusalem. Our roots are deeper than any other people's. And the same is true about the Temple Mount. Jerusalem was ours and it will be ours in the future." He goes on, "Our forefathers visited the Temple Mount 3,800 years ago. The two temples of the Jewish people stood on the Temple Mount for 1,000 years. King David built his palace in the city of David adjacent to the Temple Mount and made Jerusalem our capital 3,000 years ago. And ever since, the Jewish people have prayed in the direction of the Temple Mount, and its image has decorated their homes." We have no connection with the Temple Mount, he questions. The Jews' ongoing affinity with the Temple Mount is a basic fact of history that only ignorant people, either by force or willingly deny. I must say here, these distortions of history are only reserved for the Jews. Only for the Jews, the double standard with regard to the Jews. Does anyone claim that the pyramids of Giza have no connection to the Egyptians? That the Acropolis in Athens has no connection to the Greeks? That the Colosseum in Rome has no connection to the Italians? It is ridiculous to try and sever the connection of the Temple Mount from the Jewish people. So then, who's going to have the final word here? Will the Arabs have the final word with regard to the Temple Mount? Will the EU, the European Union, that doesn't recognize Jerusalem as being a part of modern-day Israel? Will the Americans, their politicians, have the final say? I would suggest to you that God will have the final say. He speaks of this in 1 Kings 9 and 2 Kings 21, where he says, God says, I have heard the prayer and plea that you have made before me. I have consecrated this temple which you have built by putting my name, Yahweh, by putting my name there forever. My eyes and my heart will always be there. In Jerusalem I will put my name, Yahweh. In this temple and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of the tribes of Israel, I will put my name forever. God has spoken, and he will have the last word with regard to who Jerusalem belongs to, who the Temple Mount belongs to. God will have the last word. Till next week, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Yivareka Yahweh. Yahweh bless you, bless those you love, and bless those who love you.